This is the Roxanne Show. Get ready. It's time to rise.
It was the most productive year of my life. Like, I taught at Stanford. I fundraised $1 million. I moved to Austin. I traveled to multiple countries. I built an entirely new community. I finished a book, published a book, edited a book, marketed a book. And I built an entire marketing plan. I literally pivoted my company's direction, built an entire team around building a new sex therapy protocol. So last year was, and by the way, sidebar, I also saw a bunch of patients last year too. So I advise 20 companies. That's not what I'm recommending to people do.
No, that's not really.
I learned that for me, that's just too much.
Yeah.
I don't need that level of, I don't need that much stress. I could be more effective with less projects and focusing. And it's taken me 10 years to learn that I don't need to overextend myself anymore. Right.
Yeah.
For those women that are listening to me who are 29, please take my advice. If I could go back to 29 and I could tell my 29-year-old self one thing, it would be eating more and exercising more is the secret to weight loss and better body. I thought I had to starve myself and exercise, but actually it's the reverse dieting that's worked better for me.
Yeah.
Where I'm actually eating more and I'm exercising more and I'm getting leaner.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
What? So that was the thing I wish I would have heard when I was younger. You don't need to be on Adderall. You don't actually have ADHD. You just aren't, your metabolic health sucks. You got to fix your metabolic health.
Yeah.
I wish I would have learned that I could actually concertedly work on my self-love when I was younger. Cause I worked on it over the last few years, concertedly. And my level of happiness and joy in my life is so much greater because I just worked on self-love.
Yep.
I wish I would have told my younger version of myself that I could work on my attachment style and that would actually help my health. So there's all these things that I really feel like I wish I could have told myself then when I was younger. But the other thing that I want to go back to is mitochondrial stressors. We talked about exercise recovery, stress and recovery, heat and cold, high pressure, low pressure. For people who are struggling with long COVID or jet lag or Crohn's disease, or they're dealing with some sort of wound issues, wound healing, hyperbaric oxygen therapy is fantastic.
Amazing.
It's high pressure to low pressure, which sends the hypoxia inducible factor to turn on, which actually activates mitochondria to go into a cellular regeneration mode.
Amazing.
So definitely wish I had an HPOT machine. I don't have one, but I've got friends who do. Breath work is another way to get around that. You can just breath holds, breath work, high oxygen to low oxygen. Those are great tools in the toolbox. And then feasting and fasting. So I have always been kind of a outspoken advocate for metabolic flexibility.
Yep.
Because I think that most people don't realize that this is actually the path to longevity, is having a strong metabolism that can gear shift between fat and carbs. And most people get stuck in high carb states or low carb states.
Yep.
And I am finding that it's that toggle switch between high carb, low carb, between higher calories, lower calories, between fasting and feasting. Those toggle switches, that is cross training your metabolism.
Yeah.
Just like you do need to get a bit of cardio in. Yeah. On Saturdays, I work out with my trainer's class and it kicks my ass.
Yeah.
That's going to be my cardios on Saturday. But it's really interesting. There's so many people that are now coming to terms with that fasting actually can be good for you. And that lowering your carb intake, if you have too many refined carbs and sugar in your diet, is actually great for your metabolism.
Yeah.
But I'm definitely more in the sort of camp of there's going to be weeks where I'm going to eat more carbs. There's going to be weeks where I eat less carbs.
Yep.
And I'm less stuck in full on low carb mode all the time.
Yep.
Because I just find that my body works better if I raise my carbs a bit.
Me too. That was one of the biggest changes for me in the last just 2 years even. Upgrade, I've always been low carb and the carbs that I talk about, it's not bread, pasta, we're talking about fruits and, root vegetables, but I've had to increase them, in the last 2 years for hormonal health, to get into better states of sleep. I sleep really well, but this has really helped. It's ultimately for my recovery and also the berries specifically to detox estrogen and just, again, hormone health,
big fan
right?
of berries.
Oh, me too. I eat so many fucking berries every day. And
I love raspberries.
Me too,
I also
blueberries.
love smoothies with like frozen vegetables and fruits in them. You
know?
Yeah.
Yeah. I used to do a lot of frozen vegetables, a little harder on the gut.
What I've learned is you can actually blanch them and then freeze them. So blanch your veggies first. Okay. And then they're pre-digested. Then you freeze them and then you don't get nearly as much of that digestion issue.
Okay. You just gave me some flashbacks to your story post of your cooking. Like, this girl can fucking cook. You can throw down in the kitchen.
Throw down.
I have not tasted your food yet, but I have felt the frequency.
It's really tasty.
I felt the frequency of love through just looking at your food. Oh yeah, it's gorgeous. You're so creative in the kitchen. I mean, like multicultural, different dishes. Like, girl, it's real.
I've always joked that like, if all these other careers don't work out, I can become a caterer. Like it's just a joke, of course, but like
it's incredible.
I definitely think that like, well, food is just so tied to love for me because I was very privileged to be born into an incredible family with like amazing parents where food is just a big part of our culture. And I'm just so grateful for my parents and like the way that they have raised me and like the way that food brought us together every night.
Yeah.
Like we had dinner together every night and it was just such an amazing,
that's really special.
Thanks so much for listening, you guys. Please like, subscribe, and share. And don't forget to leave us a 5-star rating and review.